Gallimera, good morning. Using the phone again today because I'm just trying to keep the files smaller so they might get uploaded a bit easier to Facebook. So there's a quick view of the view this morning, and you can see we've got a lot of cloud at the moment. It's still warm, and I can just hear a few crickets singing, so it's not overly hot at the moment. And we are getting a forecast for rain. There was rain yesterday. Yeah, while Jane was up at the shipwreck, guiding at the shipwreck, they had rain there. So a lot of the people who were on the trip, as in the people working, were kind of relieved to see the rain. I'm not sure how the tourists felt about the rain, but I know a lot of the people working were pleased to see a bit of rain. We didn't have any where we are, although I think there might have been a little bit in town yesterday because the roads just looked a little bit wet. And when I went to have my teeth done yesterday, I've got to be honest, it was a bit slippy on the hill slightly. So again, I think we had a little bit of rain in town yesterday. But other than that, we're still hoping for a good deluge up here, because if you look at the grass at the moment, it's looking very parched at the moment in our little area. Right, so once again, can I just thank Amanda for the weather forecast this morning. I'm going to do the podcast inside again, so I don't feel myself shouting. She says, morning, Ginge. Saturday's weather, sunny, very warm, temperature 30. It's going to feel like 36. Right, so there you go. That's the weather. And of course, just a quick reminder that we are still on Cat 4 for fire. There is still a danger of fire here at the moment. And once again, please abide the rules in regards where you can go and where you can't go, especially after 6 o'clock at night when there is still a curfew in wooded areas, etc. You're not allowed in those areas. Right, last night then, can I just say thank you to all the people that came. Last night we were really busy, but you know, it was a calm busy, not a manic, frenetic busy like on Thursday night where it was just absolutely bedlam crazy. It was really nice. A lot of families, a lot of young children, people following the rules to a degree, all right? But other than that, absolute blast. The dance anthems recording last night, I could not have asked for better. I felt personally it's probably one of the best shows that I've recorded. The people were great. The music just all seemed to fit together. People were really impressed with the music that was being played. The diversity of the dance anthems last night. We went from garage to tech house to old favourites. I even put in a remix of Sweet Caroline at a request of somebody who said, Ginge, you got to play Sweet Caroline. And so I had a new version of it by a guy called Blanco, which actually fitted really, really nicely. So once again, thank you to all those people. Didn't get out of Magdalena's till well after 4 o'clock this morning. And that's the reason why the broadcast is a little bit later than normal on a Saturday morning, is because I'm still getting over the long night. But anyway, thank you to all those people that stuck around. I know some of the people are on your final few hours of your holiday and you've enjoyed yourselves immensely and you're all making plans to come back for next year, which is brilliant. And again, thank you. Just to remind you, beatsradio.co.uk. My dance anthem show from yesterday, that's going to be repeated today, I think about 7 o'clock UK time tonight. That's 9 p.m. Greek time. That will get a second airing on beatsradio.co.uk. And also the big bank holiday weekend is going on at the moment with Beats Radio. So if you're looking for a bit of music on the go, don't forget the MyTuner app. Just tune in, have a listen. You might be very pleasantly surprised at the diversity and the type of music that we have, and a lot of extra stuff being done for over the UK bank holiday weekend. Right, not going to look at flights today because Jane is literally living down the airport again today for flight arrivals. Going to get straight down to the COVID infections within the last 24 hours. Can I just say also, before I forget, Paul and Jackie, thank you for coming and saying hello last night. She said it was like meeting George Michael last night. Thank you very much for that. They're great fans of the podcast. They also said if it hadn't been for my podcast, they probably wouldn't have booked a holiday to come over here as well, which I take as a great privilege that you would listen to me and decide that you're going to make your arrangements. Can I also say thank you to Natalie and her father. She says, listens to me all the time. She says, you're always on in our house at the moment. And once again, thank you for those thumbs up for the podcast. I just do apologise that at the moment, YouTube, it's nigh on impossible at the moment trying to upload anything at the moment on there. I'm not sure. I think it's just that the internet here is under such strain at the moment. It's just trying to get stuff up online is really difficult. Right, let's get back to the COVID in the last 24 hours. Infections are down, which is good. Yesterday, I did report 3,538 new infections across the country. The new infections for today, 3,076. 22 new cases were identified in checks into the country. That's also down on the previous, where there were 29. Islands of interest that I do like looking at in comparison to how we're getting on. At the moment, Mykonos, their numbers are down, 35 yesterday, 18 today. Rhodes is also down from 93 yesterday to 77 today. Lefkada, our little cousin up the street who had 32 days of 33, they've had a new figure now for yesterday of 13. So that's quite a drop for them. Even Corfu has had a very slight drop. Yesterday they had 53 new infections. Today it's 51 new infections. Kefalonia, again, a very slight drop. 16 on the previous report, 15 today. And Zakynthos, we've had a drop as well, from 14 on my previous report to 9 new cases of infection across Zakynthos for today. So again, a drop there. Just one thing that has been noted, we've been trying to update our test results from rapid testing, and at the moment it seems the TaxisNet doesn't seem to be accepting any updates to rapid testing at the moment. I'm not sure if anybody else is having this problem at the moment. I'd be curious to hear if anybody's having problems putting their results of their rapid testing through the Greek test centre here in the ECA building. If you're having difficulties getting that into your TaxisNet account, because I've got to be honest, I've been trying for the last 2 days and it's not accepting the update. So I don't know what's going on, whether it's a finger problem or just basically, I know they said they were overwhelmed at one point with 400 tests and maybe they're just slow putting it in. But it does show you that you can't lie on your on what you test, especially when you're doing the rapid test with the Audi, because they know what the result is. So again, at the end of the day, anybody else having any problems getting onto the TaxisNet and actually updating this week's result of their rapid test, I'll be curious to know. Right, Zakynthos then so far this year has had 1,123 cases. This month alone, we've had 356 cases for the month of August, and it's going to be interesting to see how that number is going to go by the end of the month, because we've only just got a couple of days left to go. But August has definitely been the biggest month for infection. Last month, July, was 272, and now this month we're at 356. So let's hope that our, epidemiology doesn't land us in anything at the moment. When it comes to deaths across Greece at the moment, those numbers have dropped as well. 28 deaths yesterday. Today, 22 new deaths reported across the country. That brings the death toll now up to 13,561. The average age of those people passing away, 79 years of age. 96% of those had underlying health issues or problems or were over the age of 70. And once again, our condolences to families that are affected there. Again, just to remind you that for the month of August, we've had 2 deaths here on Zakynthos, a 44-year-old man and also a 77-year-old man as well. And the last deaths that we had was back in May, where we had 3 deaths, an 85-year-old man, a 70-year-old woman, and also another 70-year-old man as well. So again, it'll be interesting to see hopefully there'll be no more deaths before the end of this month, at least anyway, of August. When it comes to critical cases in ICUs, they are still creeping up at the moment. 332 reported yesterday. At the moment, 337 cases, 204 of those are male, and 133 of those are actually female. Right, let's have a look at the news then at the moment. The big story at the moment here on the island is a story of a 55-year-old local man. He's been sentenced to pre-trial custody, pre-trial, on charges of arson. Now, he's been put into basically on remand at the consent of the investigator and of the prosecutor of Zakynthos. Now, according to police sources, the 55-year-old seems to be responsible for the big fire last Saturday in Argassi, where flames reached almost to some of the houses at the entrance into the village there. And he was also responsible for a second smaller fire on Mount Skopos, which is also down in the Argassi area as well. Now, according to the same sources, the 55-year-old was actually hiding on Mount Skopos as he had a conviction pending against him, again, for attacking a firefighter with a knife. Now, because he hadn't paid the bail to keep him out of jail, because this is the Greek system we're talking about now, the guy had actually gone on the run. And because he hadn't paid the money to keep him out of jail, he'd gone on the run, and obviously the police then obviously managed to track him down. Now, with this reason, that is the reason why the 55-year-old was arrested in the early hours of Sunday morning after a police investigation, but also on a testimony that he had also confessed to being responsible for the fires as well. Anyway, it should be noted that the accused had previously occupied the police authorities' cases for arson, and that he had obviously been a person of interest to them for quite a while. And as I've said before, when it comes to the fire season, the police and the authorities are normally aware of who the people are that cause the problems, and they obviously keep an eye on them as well. An interesting little article came out yesterday, an aviation directive for the airports here in Greece, with conditions of entry into Greece for passengers on flights from abroad, which is aimed at curbing the spread of coronavirus 19. And this has been now extended until 6 a.m. on Friday, September the 3rd. Now, according to the information, the obligation of people who have not been vaccinated travelling from 16 countries, they will undergo mandatory testing once they arrive here in Greece. Now, those countries include the likes of Egypt, Albania, Argentina, Bulgaria, Brazil, Georgia, Cuba, the United Arab Emirates, India, China, Libya, Morocco, North Macedonia, Pakistan, Russia and Turkey. Now, nationals from countries other than the European Union and the Schengen Agreement area are prohibited from entering Greece for non-essential travel. Now, passengers travelling for essential reasons and permanent residents of the following 35 countries are exempted. The word is exempted from this rule. And these countries include Australia, North Macedonia, United Arab Emirates, United States, the United Kingdom, so you are exempt from mandatory testing from arrival into the country, Israel, Canada, Belarus, Bahrain, blah, 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 all right? I'm not going to go through all the countries, all right? Now, according to the directive, people travelling from all other countries are prohibited from entering Greece. So already it's looking like there's a closure going on. And interestingly, two diplomats told Reuters on Friday that the European Union had moved to reintroduce COVID travel restrictions like quarantine and testing requirements for unvaccinated citizens of the United States and 5 other countries. Now, EU countries started a procedure to remove the United States from a list of countries whose citizens can travel to the 27-nation bloc without additional COVID restrictions. The non-binding list currently has 23 countries on it, including Japan, Qatar and Ukraine. But of the 27 countries already, they have their own limits on US travellers in place. One diplomat said other countries that would be removed from the safe travel list were Kosovo, Israel, Montenegro, the Lebanon and North Macedonia. The decision on the new EU travel restrictions for foreigners would become final on Monday. Should no EU country object? The source as well said that 2 more EU officials were also complaining about the same issues. Now, the list is compiled on a basis of COVID-19 situations in each country, as well as the agreement from the other side. That's the word, I'll make it easy. Anyway, despite EU calls, the United States does not allow European citizens to visit freely, and the bloc has been divided between those pushing for equal treatment and those more reliant on tourism and reluctant to restrict US travellers. So at the moment, I know US travellers haven't been restricted from coming to Greece. We've seen quite a lot of American travellers here. But at the moment, this is the EU's thing, not Greece's thing at the moment. And again, at some point, Greece may be told to step in line with whatever the EU wants to do. We've already seen Germany putting Greece into the red, and we're looking and wondering if any other of the nations of the EU, like the Dutch and other countries like Poland, etc., whether they may also decide that they want to put Greece into the red. But at the moment, it's not happening, and please let's not let it happen, because we still got September coming, and every business person that I have spoken to, whether they're in Kalamaki, whether they're in Silavy or whether they're in Laguna, have all said the same thing. We need September to happen unhindered. We need another month to basically either be able to pay our bills for the winter, pay our staff, pay our commitments, and basically keep our businesses turning and burning, and for some, pay our rents, etc. as well, for at least through the month of September. So again, September is almost upon us, and we will see how the month of September then starts to pan out. Also, another COVID-related story. 29 seniors and a nurse were found to be infected with coronavirus in a nursing home in eastern Thessaloniki, according to reports on Friday. They were all vaccinated and none became seriously ill. They were then placed in a separate care unit as a team of the National Public Health Organisation performed tests on the staff and the rest of the residents at the centre, who are also all fully vaccinated. So again, they're obviously pushing for full vaccination of people in the healthcare sector. But anyway, I'm pleased that the old people, the seniors, are okay and they're all right. Also as well, going to Afghanistan now and Greece's involvement in Afghanistan. A Greek government jet is on standby in Islamabad in Pakistan, waiting to extract around about 18 individuals from Afghanistan. 2 security sources had said on Friday. The individuals, who are Afghans, are persons who in the past with the Greek authorities had worked together, but it was unclear at what capacity, along with the members of their families that are actually going to be picked up and rescued. Anyway, the United States and its allies are rushing to evacuate as many people as possible from Afghanistan before August the 31st deadline, amid a deteriorating security state. We've already seen the big bomb that was at the end, or the 2 bombs that were at the entrance of the Kabul airport that killed, my last crate, about 97 people, including 14 US Marines. Absolutely devastating attack. And again, just showing what is ahead for these people now that the Americans have pulled out, and basically the people are left to fend for themselves. There are some very dark times ahead already for these people, and God knows where it will end and what is to become and what is to happen. And also just another point to note, the Taliban also, along with the other ISIS members, these two factions don't get on with each other. So again, there's going to be fighting between those two factions. And obviously then you've got the people in the middle who are obviously on between the two sides and the two factions. So again, a recipe for chaos, a recipe for Islamic terrorism around the world, which is probably going to come. And again, we just got to wait and see what transpires and what happens. Anyway, going back now to the fires here in Greece, they are still going, trust me. A central Greek village was evacuated on Friday afternoon after wildfires had broken out on the Mount Ithros, and this was being driven again by strong winds. According to the deputy regional governor for that area, Theanis Karakakis, he said the decision to evacuate the village of Longsteti was taken as the fire front became within 800 meters of homes. Now, the evacuation was being assisted by officials from Stydia's municipality, plus also the police. Amongst thick smoke, ground and air forces were fighting the blaze, which was burning in inaccessible areas. The fire broke out high up on the Mount Orithis and in the region between Longatis and Nexahora, which is at the northeastern of Lamania. Force winds of 5 fanned the flames for over a kilometre, and they started heading from east to south. Anyway, as many as 40 firefighters attended, 15 fire trucks, 2 ground teams, 2 PZL firefighting aircraft, that's the small little one, and also a helicopter, as well as 2 Canadian Air, they're the big firefighting seaplanes, were also in attendance. 2 weeks ago, that same area had over 300 hectares of area burned through wildfires. So once again, let's hope that it's all brought under control and we start to see the fires diminish across Greece as well. And finally, a bit of good news. The exam results were out for the schools across Greece, and it seems Zakynthos pupils have done particularly well. And it seems that a total of 184 students from the schools of Zakynthos who participated in the national exams managed to get admitted to universities of Ahora. And the success is particularly important for those students that spent most of the year in front of computer screens, watching TV and attending online classes, which I had students telling me what an absolute disgrace they were half the time, and the fact that they felt that sometimes they weren't learning anything by the online classes. In fact, they said we were better off watching YouTube and getting the information from there than we were watching some of the lecturers trying to teach us online. But anyway, the admission bases were announced on Friday morning by the Ministry of Education, putting an end to the anguish of thousands of candidates who saw their efforts rewarded. The number of candidates admitted to universities is lower than last year here on Zakynthos, where we had a total of 264 students who entered higher education. And you've got to wonder about the lower rate. Was that because these people that obviously failed the exams had been failed by the education system because of the way things went in the way of teaching? So again, you've got to sort of take that into mind. This year, 297 candidates actually took the exam. So again, that is a drop. But anyway, several candidates again this year in Zakynthos excelled in securing places in higher demand schools such as medicine, law and polytechnic. So again, it looks like they've done really well at the moment here on Zakynthos with education, despite everything that has been going on. Right, I've just seen a few little messages coming up. I'm just going to quickly say hello to some people. Zanti Pete says, good morning from a cloudy Milton Keynes. Rumour has it, sun will peep out before September begins for the first time in August. Oh, bless you. Well, you can have some of ours, mate, because we could do with a spot of rain and we could do with a bit of coolness because it's been so hot, I've got to be honest. Janet Hudson says, morning, Ginge, from Liverpool. Also, Tracy Davis is watching. Aretta, is that Aretti tuning in this morning? I'll give you a wave. If that's our Aretti from work, she worked so hard last night, because obviously we were there to the early hours, because of the dance anthem. So again, and thank you for looking after me as well with the honey and lemon tea. Can I also thank Tassos on the front bar for looking after me as well with the honey and tea, and then Aretti takes over later on. So bless you, thank you. And just having a look, see if there's any other comments. Big shout out to Maria Heidelberg over there in Sweden. Nice having you looking in. Right, I'm going to leave it there because, again, I've still got loads to do this morning. Once again, thank you for the continued support for the podcast. When you get people come to you and just say how much they enjoy them, how much they love listening to the news, the information about what goes on, and they also make decisions on whether they're going to take a holiday or not, you feel a great responsibility and a privilege as well to be able to talk to people and people actually listen to what you have to say and make decisions that affect their lives on whatever you say. So once again, I do treasure that. I do understand that, and I feel that that is a privilege. And also for you to take time out of your day to listen to a bloke ranting on his balcony is also a great privilege as well for me to have you spend your time listening to me. But anyway, that's it from me. Once again, tonight, back in Magdalena's, more karaoke tonight, more music video selection, and it will be a 2 o'clock shutdown for me tonight, not a 4 o'clock in the morning, okay? But again, thank you for your coming and attendance. It's greatly appreciated. Right, that's it from me. I'll keep my ear to the ground. If I hear of anything, I'll let you know. And thank you for whoever's sending me the love hearts. I appreciate that. Thank you. Ta-ra!